Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video we are going to look at the Fiend WWE 2022 return. Stone Cold makes special announcement for Wrestlemania 38. Major update on Vince McMahon's in-ring return at Wrestlemania 38. Happy Corbin turns face and more. First let's look at details of Roman Reigns in dark match against top Babyface after WWE SmackDown. After last week's WWE SmackDown, Roman Reigns teamed up with the Usos to take Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders in a 6-man tag team match. McIntyre is reportedly next in line to challenge Reigns for the title should the latter successfully retain his gold against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. The Usos and the Viking Raiders, on the other hand, have been involved in a title feud since last month. After the show went off air, the Bloodline took on the top babyfaces of SmackDown in an entertaining match. Their bout eventually ended with Ivar taking a pinfall at the hands of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. An interesting video from the match also made rounds on social media following the show. Some fans seemingly took a shot at Paul Heyman by calling him names while the Bloodline members were competing inside the ring. However, the Universal Champion was quick to come to the rescue of his special counsel. In the video, the Tribal Chief can be seen hugging Heyman to console him following the incident. The moment between Reigns and Heyman was well received by fans in the live audience, who then shared multiple videos across all social media platforms. Universal Champion Roman Reigns and WWE Champion Brock Lesnar are set to lock horns for a huge winner-take-all title unification match at WrestleMania 38. The title versus title clash is now billed as the biggest WrestleMania match of all time. Both champions met for the contract signing on SmackDown's main event last week. As has always been the case with putting names on the dotted line in WWE, the segment ended with absolute destruction. Reigns had multiple security guards inside the ring to give him an advantage over Lesnar. However, the Beast Incarnate laid out a brutal attack on the security personnel and made a strong statement while the Bloodline members hurriedly escaped. It is worth noting that before Brock Lesnar faces Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38, he will have to defend his title against an unnamed opponent at the mega event scheduled to take place at Madison Square Garden this Saturday. Stone Cold makes special announcement for WrestleMania 38 week. WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin has made a special announcement for WrestleMania 38 week via his official Instagram handle. Stone Cold is rumored to make a huge return to WrestleMania 38 for a match against Raw superstar Kevin Owens. Austin has been tight-lipped about the reports of his return so far. Owens, on the other hand, is making regular teases about the match on his Twitter account by insulting the state of Texas. Stone Cold has now made an announcement for WrestleMania week. Austin will be releasing his brand new American Lager beer on March 31st, 2 days before WrestleMania 38. Here's an excerpt from the Rattlesnake's Instagram post. Special announcement. Join me at Billabob's, Texas on Thursday 3/31/22 for the Texas release of my brand new American Lager. At S Brews and I have crafted and fine-tuned this beer to be the most crushable and easy drinking beer in America. I will be there to drink beer and enjoy celebrating the release of this bad of beer in my home state of Texas. At Reclescala 96 will be there to supply some awesome live music. I look forward to seeing everyone at the one and only at Billabob's, Texas. Whether you're coming down for #WrestleMania weekend or from the area, come join the Broken Skull Beer Bash. General admission and VIP tickets available. Go to S Brews and at Broken Skull Beer and click on the link in bio for details. Wrote Austin. Beer has always been an integral part of Stone Cold's WWE gimmick. His no-nonsense, anti-hero persona resonated with the WWE universe like few others have. Whenever Austin opened up a can of beer, fans knew that trouble was brewing for anyone who was in the ring with the veteran. Some of the most notable moments from Austin's illustrious career involved an ice-cold can of beer, Austin giving the corporation a beer bath, and the Rattlesnake stunning the entire McMahon family are just two of several iconic moments that immediately come to mind. Austin has been pretty smart with his business decisions and is still making loads of money, almost 2 decades after his retirement. His new American Lager beer is just another venture that's seemingly going to be a big hit among his fans. As for Stone Cold's rumored return, fans won't have to wait long to find out if the former WWE champion is ready to hit the ring again. If Vince McMahon is indeed planning to have Austin wrestle at the show of shows, the build-up to the match will kick off very soon on WWE TV. What do you think of Stone Cold's potential return to WWE? Let us know in the comments below. WWE teasing Babyface turn and Happy Corbin storyline. WWE may be planning a face turn for Madcap Moss shortly. This could coincide with Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss splitting up as per the latest reports from Wrestling News. Madcap Moss has been a prominent feature of the Blue brand. He was drafted to SmackDown alongside Happy Corbin during the 2021 WWE Draft. The wisecracking superstar is currently involved in a bitter feud with former WWE Champion Drew McIntyre. This week on SmackDown, Corbin lauded Madcap Moss for being an inspiration for landing on his head at Elimination Chamber and continuing to fight McIntyre. However, Corbin managed to get out of his match with the Scottish Warrior and orchestrated circumstances that put Moss in the ring with McIntyre once again. Michael Cole mentioned on commentary that Moss looked surprised at the sudden turn of events and he was not ready to fight Drew with a bad neck. The match resulted in an easy win for McIntyre as he laid out Moss with a vicious claymore. Drew McIntyre came to the Elimination Chamber in search of retribution against Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. Corbin and Moss took advantage of the Fall Count Anywhere stipulation and turned the match into a 2-on-1 assault. As the action returned to the ring, Drew McIntyre took control. He spiked Moss with a brutal-looking Alabama slam and then looked to take on Corbin on the outside. Corbin and Moss once again teamed up to drive McIntyre into the timekeeper's area for a near fall. Back in the ring, McIntyre dished out some punishment to Moss in the form of a superplex followed by a future shock DDT. Corbin came to his friend's rescue but narrowly escaped as McIntyre took a swing at him with his sword. The Scottish Warrior finally delivered a claymore to Madcap Moss to close out the match and claim victory. Would you like to see Madcap Moss as a babyface in WWE? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Major update on Vince McMahon's in-ring return at Wrestlemania 38. Nearly a decade after last competing in a WWE ring, Vince McMahon is rumored to wrestle this year at Wrestlemania 38. WWE announced that Mr. McMahon will be appearing as a guest on the Pat McAfee show next week. As first reported by Post Wrestling, the WWE chairman is expected to start a program with McAfee, which will most likely lead to a WrestleMania match between the two. Now, Dave Meltzer has confirmed the report and has provided an update that the match is officially listed in the internal schedule for WrestleMania 38. On the latest episode of Smack Talk, WWE veteran Dutch Mantel reacted to rumors of Vince McMahon making an in-ring return at WrestleMania 38 and facing Pat McAfee. He said the match could end up being crappy but wasn't against the idea of Vince returning. He suggested the WWE chairman could get up and slap McAfee during their interview next week to set up this match. It won't go long if they do have a match, and it'll be constructed from beginning to end, every second. Whatever it ends up, it could be a crappy match, but it's Vince. They don't expect a masterpiece. What's surprising them is he's 76 years old, and he's getting in the ring. And this would be a good way to set it up off that interview. If I was Vince, I'd just get up and slap him. Vince McMahon last wrestled in WWE back in October 2012 on an episode of Raw against CM Punk. The match ended in a no contest. Since then, he has rarely been physically involved with any WWE superstar. Some recent notable moments include Roman Reigns hitting him with the Superman punch, Kevin Owens headbutting him, and AJ Styles attacking him backstage. The Fiend WWE 2022 return. WWE 2K22 will be the latest installment in WWE's 2K video game series. As the release date comes closer, fans are curious about the superstars featured in the game. The Fiend Bray Wyatt was one of the most important stars in the company before getting released in 2021. Longtime players know release superstars don't usually make it to any upcoming games. Is the Fiend in WWE 2K22? The answer remains unclear. There's a high possibility WWE won't be featuring the former world champion in 2K22. However, this year's game might be different from previous installments as fans have seen multiple release superstars in the teasers revealed so far. Ex-WWE superstar Buddy Murphy was seen in the clippings for the new My Rise mode. There are mentions of more released superstars, like Nia Jax and John Morrison. If WWE decides to break the trend of not including ex-employees in upcoming games, players may see the Fiend featured in some modes of the game. As of now, he's not listed on the official roster, just like the other released superstars. There are several reasons to include Bray Wyatt in the game. He's one of the most beloved stars to ever step into a WWE ring and was part of the company for over a decade. Unfortunately, WWE is a business and would prefer not to include ex-employees to increase the sales of the game. They'd be considered an unethical move from a business standpoint. Thankfully, WWE 2K22 will include an incredible creation suite that will allow players to easily recreate Bray Wyatt and multiple other superstars recently released by the company. 2K22's Creation Suite also includes an amazing feature where players can upload their created superstars and the community can download them into their copy of WWE 2K22. This will save time, and not everyone will have to recreate their favorite wrestlers to have never-before dream matches in the game. Finally, 2K22 will also come to PC, which means players can easily install mods and make the game better than ever.